In this discussion segment, we want to take a look at the proposed reopening of schools, especially here in Nigeria, but I'll say it affects us here in Edo State. At whose expense? People have been asking the questions. Whose expense? As it stands right now, Nigeria, we have confirmed cases 28,167. Active cases 16,071. Discharge cases 11,462, while the rate of death 634. Samples collected 148,188. Coming down to Edo State, we have number of confirmed cases 1,353, while number of cases of admission we have 588. Number of discharged persons 718. Number of death in Edo State 47. For Lagos, you know it too well, 11,045. That is for Lagos. Number of confirmed cases, number of cases on admission 9,260. One number of discharge 1,653. For number of death 132. And we are talking about reopening of schools. With me here in the studio is a medical practitioner. I'm going to welcome Dr. Dominic Ativier. Doc, welcome to TMI Sunday's edition.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. Thanks for having me here.
Appreciate you coming. And so very close to him is a legal practitioner, political analyst, Barrister Robinson Imade. And guess what? He's going to turn +1 come 12th of July. Birthday. Can I call you boy, sir?
Thank you very much. 12th of July. That's my age.
It's actually 9th of July.
Oh, 9th of July. Yeah. Happy birthday in advance.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Now, here we are. Despite the spike in COVID-19 pandemic, especially in Nigeria, come to Edo State, must have records for the past how many weeks now. We are talking about reopening of schools. In Cameroon, the government of the day was able to bear the brunt. They provided necessary amenities like hand washing water, soap, mask, screen, or face shield, you just name it. Now, let's take a look at our environment. You know, we have a kind of peculiar environment. Do you think reopening of this school, with regards to the number of cases of coronavirus, is it a smart move? Let me start from the medical practitioner. From your own assessment of the situation, the number keeps on increasing, and we're talking about reopening of schools.
Well, let me start by smiling, you know. Well, yes, it's, you say it's, yes, I think it's not so bad a move, because we have said here, I think repeatedly, myself and the barrister here, that we need to reopen the system, however it is. I know I've said at some of my presentations here and elsewhere that reopening of schools is key, but certain measures must be put in place. And I've also said again that the way out of this pandemic is for us to do one of two things. Either we get the vaccine and save the people, or we go out all there and get infected. So we have what we call we're infected, so to speak. We get the virus, okay, and then we are treated. That's which we get the herd immunity. It is that immunity that's important, because for the number of persons that are actually positive cases, confirmed cases, and all that, they have developed some immunity. Now, what I think scientists should be doing is, okay, can we get the serum of those people that are infected? Let's see, okay, what can we bring out of their serum? Because we know for sure that at this point they should have been immune from COVID-19. Now, and like we've said, thank God, again, I mentioned that here, that we do not have the wild strain of COVID-19 here in Africa and in Nigeria. Otherwise, we would have been seeing the data, the figures you just gave right now would have been in triple or quadruple now. The values would have been, especially deaths. But be it as it may, resuming school, I think, with what is in place, is questionable.
questionable.
It's questionable.
All right, I will come back to you on that. Now, you heard me said, as a medical practitioner resuming school with a spike in a number, and the case of COVID-19 is questionable because in Cameroon, the government were able to step up to responsibility by providing necessary amenities to really help the children to fight against the spread of COVID-19 in Nigeria. Many private schools, even government schools, from what they are saying, provisions have not been made. Do you think that this will be a kind of a burden to parents and guardians? If it's going to be, can they really foot the bill of mask, screen guard, giving them soap, doing this and doing that, in addition to school fees and all that?
Well, I will remain in support of school reopening. But let me make it clear that what we're talking about here is at variance with the position of the state government. The government has said that it has not ordered schools reopening. The Commissioner of Education has come out to say that any private school that reopens now will face dire consequences. Government said at the auspicious time, schools will reopen. But that's not to say that I agree totally with government. Also in Emmanuel Ndom of, what's the state? Akwa Ibom State,
yeah.
has said that schools will not reopen in Akwa Ibom because they are reopening in other states, and that they are testing the waters. When the schools will reopen, they will say. The same thing with Kano State. Edo State has not said reopen school. No date has been given. But I think I am still an advocate of reopening of school. We cannot keep our children at home. Medical doctors and other health practitioners have said that even locking yourselves in brings down your immunity, that people should go out there and be active. Besides, there is no way all other states or other countries will wait for Edo State or Nigeria. We are in a competitive world. And whether we like it or not, the pandemic is on the rise, both in Edo State and in other parts of the country. I'm not saying it coming down so soon. The last time we were here, both of us, we talked about the second
wave, yeah.
The second wave of the pandemic. We are not there yet. It could still come. Are we going to, for fear of the pandemic, lock our children at home? Some of them will begin to grow beard like me in the primary, secondary school, and those who already have their lives planned in the universities will be locked down. Let us go there and brace the storm. Talking about the effect they have on the parents, I think that government owe it a duty to provide facilities for schools, talking about the private schools. And with the pandemic, the face masks, where you wash your hands, the soap, the social distance and everything now becomes part of the facilities that the school should provide, not the parents. Private schools that are ready to provide such facilities, even though they have a way of getting it back from parents, should put those things in place so that, okay, the government, federal government is tinkering with the primary 6 pupils, the JSS 3 students, and the SS 3 students, because their certificate classes should reopen. It will be easy if those ones start to really keep safe distance. In other words, a class that of 40 pupils, you cannot make 20. So you keep distance. They wash their hands, they wear their masks, and teachers also protect themselves. Schools should be reopened.
Right.
The burden should not be borne by parents, it should be borne by government and management of private schools.
Okay. From what they said, the burden should be shouldered, so to speak, by government and the proprietaries of private schools. Don't forget that they have a target, primary 6, JSS 3, SS3. Yes. But in your, when you wanted to land in your first opening, you said it's not advisable. But with these demarcations, so to speak, between classes, I don't think it's smart.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, the certificate classes should reopen. But, like I've always said, you know, I projected this because of a study, a pilot study that was done from some group of epidemiologists, and we have watched how the trend is, and we have suspected that, we have proposed that by August, okay, that there would have been some downsloping of the events that we'll see. Now, however, what we are seeing now is that we've already gotten to a level that I'm not sure we're going to hit up to 300 persons per day screening here in this state. Let's come down to Edo State in particular. Now, okay, if that is what we're to go by from the study, like I've said earlier here at some point, and August, to remember, will be a key time to open school. Now, why August? We have seen everything that I've outplayed. We have seen what's happening in Cameroon. We have seen how the states have respectively procured face shield and personal protective equipment for students and learning. And of course, we are just following them sequentially in reopening. Well, that's why we are saying certificate classes should reopen, so that we are going to maintain that social distancing, so that at least the school now, the school population would have reduced significantly. Then we'll watch and see what will happen. However, as at this time that I'm speaking to you, sir, what are the measures put in place? We have these Veronica buckets, which I have repeatedly say here that it's not appropriate. You know, when you have a bucket, you know, you go to the banks, go everywhere, you see a bucket and a tap head. Now, a child have got fomites, debts in his hand. Now, okay, and of course, they will be like maybe in their hundreds in school. He washes the hand with the soap and all that, and then he's using the same hand to lock up the tap. Now, that's just an irony of the whole thing. Well, fair enough, fair to say, I mean, let me even say something here, that, you know, some persons have thought on, okay, how do we modify this? How do we make this thing a little better? That's why Laxitech Consult came up with an idea, actually, of an auto-mechanical washing machine, which I have seen, and I think that is okay, where it's a non-touch procedure. You just probably will apply with using something more of a pedal system. I saw the system functioning, and I'm like, okay, if you're able to apply that pedal, just like you accelerating your car, you are getting dispensing fluid coming in, that is sanitizer, you're getting tap water coming in calculated grades, and you're getting soap coming out in calculated grades. I mean, that's a wonderful, a laudable idea that should be used. When you have all these things put in place, or if the school can afford, you go for a whole body scan where you enter into it, and then it's the spray system that have sanitized you, then you can now go ahead to reopen the school. But of course, apart from the fact that they are cross-infecting the tap head, of course they are kids, and a lot of persons are not patient. You know, they will break the head of the tap, and then the whole place will be littered and all that. Now, in 2 days, the whole system of the school will become an eyesore. You know, so we are not ready yet. Until we begin to look at this perspective from school health perspectives, or I'm looking at it from this angle of public health, I don't think we are there. But of course, this will not take anything. It's just some little cash, you know, get to this company we said can produce these things, and then they hit it up. But sorry, before I allow you now, you know, again, for state governments generally in the country, how many of the states have actually come out to tell us that we have face shield now that we've made, we have face masks that we've brought available, we have these things for us to reopen the school? I think maybe that was why.
That is the next question I'm about to ask about Robinson Imade, because you are for reopening of schools, and of course in other climes the government provided for both public and private school. He talked about a high-tech way of washing of hands and of course sanitizing the body. Do you think that our government is ready to provide all this?
It's not a question of thinking whether government is ready. Government in Nigeria is never ready to do anything meaningful for the populace.
Well, that is somewhat too harsh. Maybe then we have other thoughts about it.
Why are you doubt whether they will do? What I should say is that government should provide these things. Government should provide for both public and private schools, so that even if you are going to further tax the private schools, tax them. Let our children be in school and begin to grow, not just in size and age and height, but also in knowledge and academics. That's the way I look at it. But looking at what my brother said, the high-tech whatever may be too expensive for government to provide?
I think it's affordable actually, because I hear in Naira it's about 300,000, 350,000. I mean, will you say it's cheap?
Is that multiplied by number of schools? Let's say averagely, the school will require like maybe 3 to 5. Okay.
Okay, even if it's one, the school will be required to get 3 to 5.
Yeah.
Let's say even around something thousand.
Okay.
And how many schools do we have in Edo State? No less than 300 schools. Much more than that.
Okay, an average
we are talking about the budget of some states to go into this equipment. That is going to be too expensive. But then, talking about the children fondling with the tap heads, breaking it and the others, reinfecting the tap heads, that's a simple thing to take care of. There is no private school that cannot afford to pay one man or even 2 people, open this tap for them, lock it back.
You just hold on now, Barrister Robinson Imade will be right back after this break to continue with this discussion. Ripping of schools amidst COVID-19 at whose expense? We'll be right back.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's all about reopening of schools. Don't forget that they're targeting certificate classes, primary 6, JSS 3, and of course SS3. And if we talk about SS3, you cannot rule out lectures. Yes, private lectures that are on the ground to prepare students to really write the SS3 and of course JSS3 examination. You just cannot rule them out. You were making a point when you talked about the machine that he was proposing that is just too expensive. You're talking about employment of someone that will stand beside the buckets or whatever. Now, do you think that that person will have the patience with kids standing for hours on end, so to speak, right now in court to carry out that job?
Well, I think there are many people who are passionate with kids, who love kids, who want to play with kids. It will be fun. That's why you talk about interviewing people and knowing what they like and don't like. The school system must identify somebody who will be able to take that task and pay the person well, because the person will stand for hours on end, maybe have to shift duties, but that will take care of the fears he exercised over the children being reckless, being careless, and being unserious about it. It can become a plaything for children. But if moderated like that, it will be okay. But let's look at it. Much as I have said that the amount, 300 and something thousand by 2 or 3 per school will be too expensive for some states, it does not take, that amount, the quantum of it will not even match what politicians play with in the first instance. It is because we do not take the investment on our children seriously. If we do, we should be able to provide. Let me also buttress the fact that we don't care about the health of our children. Abia State governor had coronavirus. Ondo State governor had coronavirus. Benue State governors had coronavirus. Many other governors, Fire and the others have had in the past.
Delta State governor also had
Delta State
the family has
coronavirus.
Yes.
Have they reported the case of any security man, any driver, any carpenter that has coronavirus? Because they are exposed to testing, they are able to test themselves to keep alive. They keep the rest of us in the dark. Leaving the children at home does not keep them safe from coronavirus. I want to believe that many children at home have coronavirus. What should happen is...
Okay, you all believe?
I want to believe.
Okay.
Let the schools be reopened so the children will be also exposed to testing. Let us see what is happening. You are telling me governor here today, governor there the other day, governor there yesterday, all having coronavirus. No other said, only the political class. Only the political class and the wealthy. We want to hear, we want to be able to test our children. We want to be able to ensure that our children's future are not mortgaged. Because the children of this political class are outside the country. Many of them are doing their online learning and the likes. And no state government is doing that in Nigeria. Only a few private schools. And how serious or seriously are they taking it? So in my opinion, keeping the children at home, of course, it's the children of the poor. If I had the means, if I still had children, but I would have been able to employ teachers, screen them to come and teach my children. It's happening in many houses today. But the children of the poor are locked at home under the guise of let's keep them safe. Are your children locked at home the way my own children are locked if you are a political class, you are a millionaire, billionaire in Nigeria? I want to believe no. So my opinion is let schools reopen. Let the children be exposed to testing. If they have problems, we take care of them. We cannot mortgage their future on the altar of fear of coronavirus. If it were general that children, from the president's children to the security man's children, are all locked down at home, I would say fine. But I can bet my certificate that that is not the case.
All right.
So my opinion is, whatever it will cost, let us invest massively on the future of our children, the education of our children. The late Chancellor said education is light. If we shut them out of education, we are putting them in the darkness.
Okay. Well, now you were suggesting machine. Now you know that in Nigeria, many of us have this problem of maintenance culture. Yeah. Do you think that Nigeria will be able to maintain the machine if they want to go by that? Because maybe like say, look, this thing is too expensive. You know, in South Africa, they have it there in South Africa. Well, Nigeria be like if it's spoiled.
You see, one of the let it not look as though I'm trying to advertise that company, but because we have said time and time again that made in Nigerian products, you know, people that have gone out there to learn, to acquire skills, have come to produce instruments that are durable, tested, and trusted. I have seen that, I have used it, I understand the durability of that, and I know it works. Now, when we're talking about the money,
it's expensive.
That's what I'm coming to. When we're talking about the money, okay, I said 300,000. I know you can still get that for 250. You know, when the demand is high, okay, the supply.
How many private schools can afford this?
No, that's what we are saying. We are saying that it can be afforded. It's affordable, actually, if you look at it very critically. No, where do we put our treasure in? Now, these children are going to come out of their houses. We would not want them to be infected and come back home and infect us. Mind you, we have grannies, grandpa, grandmas, all at home. We have the aged. They are the ones that are at risk of even demise, death in the first instance. Now we are trying to expose these kids. Now what's this system of this machine we're talking about, this automated mechanical machine, is just a pedal. Everybody knows how to pedal a car or a bicycle, just one tap. And it's working in a mechanical way, it's dispensing these fluids and all that. It is, okay, now we have politicians, we have chairmen of local governments, you know, we have well-to-do individuals in the streets, in your street, in my street, and all that, that can even donate. When coronavirus came, everybody was like, 1 billion naira, 1 million naira, and all that. Now, this is the time for you to do selfless service. Go to a school nearby you, okay, a doctor has spoken about this machine on air and everything we have seen, okay, can I donate 250,000 naira? Yeah? Yes, it is. You look at this money as though it's big. Okay, let me produce this. Let me give, even as part of social corporate responsibility. Yeah. ITV can give one to the nearest school that's around. Even 4, you see. Barrister said even 4. So my point is, if people begin to see this as something that is doable, it is doable. We are saying, even with one in these schools, you know, it would have boycotted all these processes of all the bottlenecks. Okay, this child is infecting this child, that and that and that. Okay, now let us even believe and hope that our schools have been demarcated, the chairs have been fixed such that don't sit here and all that. Okay, I was, before I came in here, I was to dash into the church. Interestingly, it's a Catholic church. I was barred from going in because I came in late based on the calculation of the seats. Don't sit here, don't sit here, sit here and don't. I'm like, okay, well, thank God I'm coming to the studio. God answer my prayer. I'm coming to do some selfless work too by talking. You know, so the point is, are we really prepared? Are those schools, are the schools, the government schools, the private schools, have we demarcated these classrooms significantly for children to stay? Have we, what have we done in school health, school hygiene? I mean, we cannot just expose these kids. As much as I understand that these children need to go back to school, I am saying for this to happen, let us do A, B, and C. People are already tired. If you look at the banks now, you look at social, go to public shopping malls and what have you, they do not even patronize that because of this disbelief. How can I wash my hand and then lock the tap? So what everybody just do is keep a straight face and go in.
Okay. Now, for what he said, things should be put on the ground for schools to be reopened, no matter or not whether it's certificate class or normal schooling process. Now, from your own assessment, I know you've gone around, you've seen schools, from the conditions of the schools, are we really ready?
Nobody's saying we are ready.
Then if you're not
But
ready,
we are saying
schools?
that we should be ready. If government should come out to say, it's not enough for the state government to say, we have not said schools should reopen. If you reopen now, you're in trouble. That's crazy. In my opinion, government should set guidelines. Put A, B, C, like he said, in place. Let a team, a management team or supervisory team be set up to monitor the school. This school is ready open. This school has 7 days to reopen. That's the way it should go. If we are afraid that our children will come and infect the aged at home, and we know that the banks have reopened fully, we know that churches have reopened, we know that markets are blossoming, will these other people, these adults going about their almost normal businesses, not infect the children at home? If they're infected at home, how would they be tested and taken care of? Nobody is saying children should be driven to the school where the schools that were main markets for many months, the way they are now. Disinfect the place, put the necessary protocols in place, and let schools be reopened. We are not thinking about our children. We are thinking about ourselves. We are going about almost our normal businesses, and we are locking the kids at home. I'm talking about, he is the medical doctor, I'm not, but I have read sufficiently to know that even the children have more immunity than the adults. If you are 50 years and above, they say you are at high risk. Those that have strong immunity, we are locking at home. For them to be affected by those who do not have immunity, strong immunities, that go about their normal businesses. Apart from governmental work, which government does not take seriously, every other place, private businesses are now virtually open. And of course, banks and the other places are open. We interact freely every day, everywhere. Only the children are locked at home. Whatever it will cost the government, let schools reopen. Put every machinery in place, put every precautionary measure in place, and let the children go to school. They are the only ones that are fully locked at home now. Every other person is able to go out to do 1 or 2 things for themselves. The children are locked at home. The children of the poor have no access to education. The children of the rich are able to get better education just now via private teaching and the others. So I think that the reopening of the school is now, and that now should be made possible by the provision of all the safety gadgets and equipment in all the schools. And this should be borne by the state and federal governments.
Right?
Yeah, okay, yes, I agree with you to an extent, you know. The reopening of the school should be done, but I want us to be very realistic, okay? Because as at today, what's today's date? 6th, 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are not
5th. Yeah.
5th, okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah. 5th, as at today, 5th.
Yeah.
We are not ready to reopen any school. Well, I think that's why, safe to say, the Commissioner of Health, the Commissioner of Education, I beg you, have said, those states here, we are not ready to open, to reopen the school. Because until and unless these measures are put in place, let our kids kindly, patiently, at least stay back at home. Up until, like I've said, the projection is August. August is next month. In 4 weeks, 3 weeks, they can tidy up all this, and then let everybody go back. Private, public, let the whole system continue. On this one, I agree with him. Now he's clapping for me, no? Because, yes, we are now speaking together. Yes. Okay, now talking about the way coronavirus have been actually, I mean, it's sad. This morning I read that in California, okay, there was a decree by the governor that worship centers should no longer sing. No hymn, no choruses. Just, I mean, I'm just wondering, are we going back to another lockdown? What's happening? You know, the reverse and everything is coming up. Because, I mean, what's a mosque without hymn? Okay, well, let's say maybe that may even be fair. But what is a church without singing to the Lord, or singing something, dancing and all that? All because of this. So if those developed world have seen all this, and then they had made some mistakes. They are coming back. They are retreating their steps and all that. We have watched. That is the essence of we sitting down to observe what is happening. We've seen the projections. Shall we reopen now the system? Yes. But until, like we've said, these measures are put in place. Good. And then it will be bravo to everybody.
All right, now before we call it a wrap on this show, because our time is up, what do you feel about all those lecture houses? Because they too, they prepare students that are about to write certificate examination. We're talking about reopening of schools. I don't think they should be considered also.
I don't know how many lecture house or how many of the lecture houses are registered and so can be monitored. It's up to parents. If we are advocating that schools should be prepared for resumption, being prepared means everything put in place, fumigation or sanitization, equipment procured and installed, people being there to man the place, and social distancing kept. We can say that here for government to hear, for the private school owners to hear and do likewise. But for the private lectures, I don't know how one can monitor that. If I have, much as I'm not saying that we should not enhance our children's knowledge via lectures, if I have a child, even in the certificate class now, I will send him or her to lectures. I've had the opportunity of going through some of the lectures, and I see people sitting on the window on benches and they cramp 100 or more students in a room that ought to take 20 or 30. Is that the kind of place we want to send our children to now? Do we know the organizers of those lectures? How much of these precautionary measures can they take? If we are not sure, they should be closed down.
All right. Your last line on this, Doc, private lectures.
I agree totally with what he has said. You know, it's just giving a nod. Yes, unless they are registered, unless we're able to check up them, check what they are doing that is right, that is not right, it should be closed down.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate your wonderful analysis. And of course, Barrister Robinson Imade, your birthday is on the 9th of July. Happy birthday in advance to you. And of course, Dr. Dominic, your birthday is July 12th. It's like birthday July babies. Can you imagine that? Happy birthday to both
my daughter's birthday.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you.
Okay, that's it on TMI. I really appreciate you for staying to this time to see the end of the show from the beginning. I really appreciate all of you. Just have a wonderful day. Don't forget to remain safe. Whatever you heard our guests in the first, second, and of course third discussion segment, whatever you heard them say is their opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV Radio. Tomorrow will be time for us on the Legal Coastal to come up with yet another edition of This Morning on ITV. Bye for now.